This real estate for the rich, housing for the high income didn't start today. It started long ago when instead of making housing accessible and affordable and creating systems that enable access for everyone, housing became something of privilege, something reserved for the top officials. And even government housing became a privilege for top executives, politicians, and people in close circles with government. And as we reached independence, instead of correcting all of this and fine tuning this process, what did we do? The people who this planning style favored were the people making the policies. And so it was not far fetched that they would not introduce policies that made it easy for regular, average citizens to access the same kind of privileges that they had access to. The form of expression of housing that we copied was not built to suit the kind of economy that we operate in. We copied top government official kind of housing in a low to middle income kind of economy without any form of accessible or affordable financing structure and without an economic structure that actually supports or empowers people to access this housing by themselves. But that is only one part of this issue because remember that where this form of housing and real estate practice came from, mortgage was a system. But for us, we adopted the full ownership method of housing. And because the cost of finance or the cost of ownership of these homes was far above the income level of most people, everyone then started looking forward to government subsidy, to government housing or government loan. And the more we pursued this full ownership style of housing, everybody started scrambling for the best real estate value, for the best location, for the best home value. And ultimately, housing quickly started becoming out of reach for a lot of people, which fell within the low to middle income class. And naturally, because Nigerians know how to adapt, we know how to adjust. What happened? We started going to the outskirts, save for years to afford land, build slowly, and then hope for God to do a miracle, while the top government officials gathered the prime locations for themselves. So let's compare all these age-long practices against what the administration promised. And thankfully, the administration is doing its best to implement them. But how well will this trickle down? So despite all that the government is doing, the housing crisis keeps worsening, the housing deficit keeps increasing. And this is the crux of this argument, that until we go back to planning, to how land titling is done, to improving income level, to improving infrastructure planning, and even generally upturning the planning process into enabling more people access and afford housing, we will only be fixing plaster on a severed leg.